Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now plenty has been going on today after the ruling where Wilder will get to face Tyson Fury once again. According to a source from ESPN, that is what has happened in America overnight. Now, in this situation, that means of course Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury cannot happen next, and Tyson Fury must face Deontay Wilder before the 15th of September. Now, a few things have happened. Eddie Hearn apparently is in contact with Oleksandr Usyk, the promoter and manager of Oleksandr Usyk, which is AJ's WBO mandatory, so AJ knows who he will be fighting. It will be Usyk because obviously he is mandatory, he was stepping aside and fighting Joe Joyce in the interim, but it seems that that will no longer happen. Now there has already been contact between those two, so it seems AJ will be sorted for his next fight. I wouldn't imagine he's going to be pleased because Anthony Joshua is not the problem here. Eddie Hearn is not the problem. I mean, Tyson Fury is not the problem. He's a fighter. He's not the one who does the nitty gritty behind the scenes. It's not great from Tyson Fury's team, those behind the scenes and those at Top Rank, who said that he was free to go and fight whoever he wants. And now all of a sudden, when they were that close to announcing Undisputed, all of a sudden it goes up in a puff of smoke. So not great from them. Now, Frank Warren has made it clear they have two options. Agree a step-aside deal with Deontay Wilder so AJ vs Fury can go ahead, or Fury just fights Wilder next. Simple as that, but he did say that they were having talks and working hard to make the first option happen, so to make Wilder step aside so AJ vs Fury can still go ahead. Now, in light of that, and after those comments, Bob Arum has revealed that Top Rank reserved July 24th at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas for Tyson Fury vs Deontay Wilder 3, and he also said, "We're not paying Deontay Wilder step-aside money, it's better to get rid of him. We can make AJ for November or December." So clearly that is what Bob Arum is planning to do, and we heard about a reserve date in July for Tyson Fury. Wasn't that always going to be this fight? So therefore, why were they trying to make Undisputed? In what world did they believe Undisputed was going to happen if they were already making moves to stage Deontay Wilder? Because we did hear about this previously, that there was a date being reserved in July in the case that Undisputed does not come off. That is the date now reserved for Tyson Fury vs Deontay Wilder 3. Bob Arum has said they're not going to pay him step-aside money, they would rather fight him, get rid of him, and then move on to AJ later this year. And Tyson Fury has also previously stated that he would rather fight Deontay Wilder than give him some step-aside money. So it seems like that will happen now, and AJ will fight Usyk. The only problem is, are they going to be able to make Undisputed in November-December, which is when those in Saudi, I believe, would have been happy to take it. Apparently it was Saudi's preference to take the fight later in the year anyway, so maybe it works better for them. It is just a shame for, say, Eddie Hearn, who's done so much work in trying to secure the fight in August. Now all of a sudden, the one thing that we were kind of told about at the start, the one thing that was the reason why Tyson Fury could go and face AJ and why negotiations even begun in the first place, that was the one thing that stopped Undisputed from happening. Now, that's kind of crazy, but I guess in some ways it's not, because there was a contract and Tyson Fury was obligated to give Wilder another shot. Now we were led to believe that that contract had expired, but clearly not. Now what is the chances of Undisputed happening? I would say 0 right now. Because of what Bob Arum has said, if he would have said, we're going to try and find a resolution, we're going to find a way around this, maybe give Wilder some step aside and ask him to wait. If he had said that, then they can try and make the fight still, and that is apparently what Frank Warren would like to do, but clearly not what Bob Arum would like to do, which could be some kind of conflict because they are both promoters of Tyson Fury, Arum in America and Warren in the UK. So could there be some situation where Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn try and make the deal still? Possibly, but then Frank Warren has to be the one to sort things out with Wilder. Then there is the situation in the US as well, with Tyson Fury's US broadcaster, which is ESPN, and obviously they have a promotional deal with Top Rank. So it seems like unless Bob Arum is on board, then they're likely not going to make Undisputed next, and Bob Arum has made it clear he's not interested in giving Wilder step-aside money. So there we go, it seems just like that, Undisputed is now off the table until later this year, but you have to wonder, if it doesn't happen now, then can it really happen? Look how close they came, yet still something came back to bite them in the ass, and it was the Wilder situation. And obviously that has nothing to do with Anthony Joshua or Eddie Hearn, not even Tyson Fury, because he was led to believe he was free to move on. So it's a situation that was not resolved in the first place, and therefore it was a situation that was resolved just 12 or 13 weeks out from the date they had agreed for Undisputed. Then look what happens. So AJ was likely gearing up to start a training camp for Tyson Fury, and vice versa for Fury. Now all of a sudden, there is this course correction. So AJ is going to be fighting Usyk and Fury Wilder. Then they go again after that fight. But given the situation with, even in the first place, AJ versus Wilder, they have a fight, they try and make this happen, it doesn't happen. Then AJ fights someone else, Wilder fights someone else. Wilder goes and fights Fury, turns down a mega offer to fight AJ to go and fight Tyson Fury instead. And he even explained that he took less money to fight Fury instead of unify in an Undisputed fight against AJ. That fight did not happen, and now they have tried to make Undisputed between Fury and Anthony Joshua, yet still it has not happened. So what makes them believe that they can get it done in November, December? I'm starting to wonder if this fight is even possible to be made. And they did come close, yes, and it was the Wilder situation that thwarted it. They wouldn't have that next time around, but what happens if Wilder wins? There is that possibility. Then they never make Undisputed, and even then, there is going to be more mandatories. A WBC mandatory will come next year with Dillian Whyte, so if they cannot get it done for November, December, then Whyte must have his opportunity. There is also the situation with Filip Hrgovic versus Michael Hunter, and that is an eliminator to see who becomes mandatory to AJ. That could be something that also gets in the way of this fight being made. You know, I do feel a bit sorry for Eddie Hearn, putting in all that work to secure everything, to get a site offer from Saudi, 75 million each for AJ and Fury, then 5 million for expenses and the undercard. Things like that, getting everything tied up and getting everyone on the same page. Then all of a sudden, it's just gone. And that must be very frustrating. But he moves on. He's already contacted Oleksandr Usyk, and they are talking about AJ versus Usyk, because Undisputed is not going to happen next, given what we are hearing from Bob Arum. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.